Hello, this is Peter Murphy, President and CEO of the Illinois Association of Park Districts. Today, we are presenting another video as part of our Legends video series. One of the missions of IAPD is to recognize outstanding park, forest preserve, and conservation district board members throughout the state of Illinois. I hope the knowledge and insights these great leaders provide will inspire you to continue to make a positive impact at your agency and in your community. Please enjoy.
Hello, I'm Wayne Utterback, Director of Communications and Digital Content for the Illinois Association of Park Districts, and I am pleased to be speaking to Channahon Park District Commissioner Ronald Lehman for our latest installment of our Legends video series. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk with me, Ron.
Well, it's my pleasure, and thank you for asking, Wayne.
Now, I know you've been a longstanding commissioner, but can you give me just a little bit more information about how long you've been with your park district and just a little bit about your background?
Well, to start with my background, I was a college graduate from Northern Illinois University, though at that time it was called a teacher's college. Majored in physical education because my goal was to be a coach. And as a part of the old curriculum in that field, we also were required to take 12 hours of park and recreation at Northern. And I did so because it was just a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And it was a good, easy grade for a lot of us. And so when I graduated and got into coaching and the military and things like that, I never dreamed that that would play a part in my life. But ironically, as things played off, when I came out of the Army, I ended up in the Channahon, Manuka area as their coach. And as a coach, I began noticing that, listening to the boys in the locker room about what they were going to do on Saturday night. And I won't go into what they had planned, but we could talk to kids at that time. And so we became an advocate. Well, we got to do something for kids in our town. And eventually a group started the park district. I did not get onto it because I had a really great basketball team coming, and that was my interest. But when the season ended, one of the guys on the board left, and that was about 48 years ago. My wife convinced me to suggest I take his place, and that's what started it. I've been so blessed. I really loved it. I had an interest in it at college. It just kind of blended together at no effort or decision on my part to do it. It just kind of evolved. And then getting involved with our park district at home, that led me to become more involved in recreation. I became, through Ted Flickinger, IAPD director prior to Peter. He assisted me in getting on the federal commission for the Illinois-Michigan Heritage Corridor. And to do that, I had to be a part of something in Springfield. So Ted and Peter asked me to be a part of IAPD board. And that led me to not only the commission with the federal government, but it put me in a line, and then Ted and Peter kept mentoring me and coaching me, and our district and our town began to continually grow and flourish. And it's been almost 48 and a half years, and I'm still watching the district grow and still watching it flourish, and just so thankful. Not so much anything that I did. We just ended up with a great staff of people running our local district. And of course, when you're associated a little bit with the people from IAPD, Wayne, you're definitely headed with some of the nicest and greatest and smartest people that I've met in this field. So it's been a journey. It's really enjoyable. We've been able to do things I never dreamed. I never dreamed when I became a member of NRPA that I'd become a chairman of that. But over the country, park and recreation has become just as much of my life as was coaching and administration.
Now that's a good segue into my next question, because I would like to know, like, can you describe your overall experience with your park district, just what you've seen in your time there?
Yeah, I sure could. When we started out, we did not have a director. We did the first 4 or 5 years where the commissioners, and there's 5 of us, and all had an interest in helping the town get something to do for kids. In that 5 years, some of us each took on a certain duty. I took on the financial and the recreation end of it. We ran our first swimming lessons out of a motel swimming pool where we were allowed to, the owner gave us 2 rooms for changing. Another guy took the thing when we ran little playgrounds in the park with the existing junior high coach, and we did that for a couple of summers with him doing the work. We were kind of got by accident, kind of helped the village. The state park system was having financial problems, and here in Channahon we have a canal park for the I&M Canal, and so our park district teamed up with the village and we ran that, and then from there things just began to mushroom. Today as we speak, we are a past gold medal national winner. The village is 20,000 and under. Our first director, Chuck Zoki, who I give a tremendous amount of credit to for all of this, who began his very first job with us. I remember interviewing him and telling him, well, we can't do much with money. We'll start out with about 14,000 and see how that works. He never left us. He once said, I can't leave this district. We never stop doing things. It's fun. And as it ended up, we're a district with about 27 or 28 parks and a growing community that's almost 25,000 in that vicinity now, and still looks like we're growing again by construction. The golf course at Heritage Bluffs has been a tremendous asset. We have a water park, fitness center, and we're just completed our kind of strategic plan. We're celebrating our 50th anniversary later this year, and our strategic plans for the next 50 include renovations, updating, and so the addition of a few facilities, highlighted right now with the renovation of the golf course. So it's an ongoing, ever-present job with some really great professional staff. Chuck Zoki, I have to say, spent his entire career with us. And when he retired, Mr. Mike Leonard, who had been an employee of ours for a few years and had worked under Chuck, he came back and he is our current executive director.
What can you tell me about your park district that makes it special, that makes it unique, makes it stand out?
Well, I think the thing that really stands out the most for us is probably our golf course, Heritage Bluffs. It seemed like that put the name of Channahon on people's radar. And though prior to the pandemic, golf had kind of slipped a little bit, since then it is just every day is a full house, and people are really, really pleased with that. I would also compliment it by saying that one of the things that have helped the park district become synonymous with the village is our partnerships with the village. The two of us seem to work pretty close together. We kind of know what each other needs, and it's become kind of a team in the area of helping us stand out within the surrounding areas, a place to come to.
Now, what keeps you engaged and involved with the park district today?
Well, are you asking, Wayne, what's my plans for the future or what we see coming in Channahon?
I think it's more along the lines of what motivates you every day to still stay engaged and involved with your park district.
I think it's just the idea, like everybody else that's a commissioner. I don't think I'm any different than them. We're to me, some of the happiest moments of being a commissioner is on a Sunday afternoon driving by the parks and seeing a place loaded with little kids playing soccer, or you see the guys playing out on the basketball court, or things of that nature. I'm still now, I have kind of retired. I hope leads to this question. I've retired from all the other boards that I was a part of, except for ours. I'm connected even to IAPD yet as part of chairing their membership committee for the board. And I helped start 7 or 8 years ago another national foundation for park foundations. We were building a huge outdoor woodland park, which is really beginning to attract tons of people from the suburban area. But we didn't have a lot of money, and we did not want to ask our village to spend a lot or tax our people. So we started a foundation to raise money and found out we really didn't know what to do. We kind of mastered that by chance and the help of some professionals, but we realized around the country, people in that profession needed to supplement the budgets their villages gave them, or what the tax rates really would be that could be tolerated by their home citizens. So we helped begin this National Association for Park Foundations. It's in 26 states right now and growing, and we put term limits on the board. I'm off the board, but I'm working as a connection yet, as an ambassador probably is the right word, and we're putting together an advisory committee for that. So still things to do. There's things that if we can help, kind of willing to put time to it. I'm retired, so I have time available, and I enjoy it, Wayne.
Now, speaking of advice, obviously there are many challenges that new commissioners face when they step into that role for the first time. What advice would you give to those who are new to being a commissioner?
Well, I think my advice to being a commissioner, to other commissioners, is to do maybe several things. The first thing is be a good listener and a good observer, and don't be afraid to see what other groups that you think or they think are very successful. Kind of see if you can meet them at meetings that are offered by IAPD and by sometimes just their own park district, attending village affairs, but spend a year just getting a feel for what's going on around you. And I think the second thing is to remember that when you're on the board, you're a board member only at that meeting. You should not be trying to boss staff and tell other staff out in the field, you should do this, you should do that. You only work with your director. He'll take care of the rest. That's his job. It's not yours. People in the field can only work for one person as their superior or as their guider. And I think that's something that all commissioners kind of learn is you don't promise a lot of things in people. Tell people that you'll listen and check on things. Don't get committed to, or don't come in for a one person, one purpose that you've got. Like, I want to have a ball diamond in my subdivision, or I want to get rid of that lady that's running the walking tracks and stuff. Don't come in with an agenda. Come in with an open heart, open mind, and observe, and then be a team player.
So, from your own personal experience, what would you say is a philosophy that a good commissioner should adopt?
Well, I think the fact that you are interested enough to run for the board means you're interested in kids and you're interested in the town. Quality of life for a town, a community, and its citizens is just as important as sometimes where it's located. So I think the attitude of every commissioner is, I'm doing this because I want to. There's no salary. You're willing to put your time, and remember why you chose to do it. You're there to kind of be an assistant, a help, an advisor, a suggester, and then your job of selecting staff is probably a key, but you take the staff you've got and you let them do the job.
That is a perfect follow-up to the question I'm going to ask now is, what would you say are some key attributes possessed by those at the very top of their field regarding staff?
I think the very best, the people that are working in the major cities, communities that have a large population, I think the commissioners there that I admire the most are able to walk the path of listening to the politics that bigger cities have than smaller cities maybe, and yet be able to do so with keeping as a professional, keeping the goal of what their board has set for them and to work it within the budget and with the people he has. And I think it's the commissioner's responsibility to understand that's what their executive director is doing, and to give him whatever help he needs probably is the most important part of what you are as a commissioner when you're not at the meeting.
Now, what do you see as some major challenges that are confronting today's park system, and how do you feel they can best be resolved?
Probably the biggest challenge is trying to provide some of the facilities and provide some of the opportunities that citizens want and they don't have money for. Which took me a little full circle to why I got involved with foundation work. Not everybody wants to do that, and I understand that. But I think that, Wayne, as you look at what do you need to do and what do you hope to do, you hope to surround yourself or find yourself really surrounded by people with the similar hope. A board, a park commissioner that finds himself on a board that has members all leaning in different directions has probably got a hard job on their hands. It's just kind of vital to end up with being able to do find out through a survey or however they want to do it, what their community wants, and then that dictates where the direction of the commissioner, and that directs then the staff as to how to plan, maybe for a year down, how do we get to that point? How do we provide that? How do we manage that? How do we support it once we've done it? I think that pre-planning and that long-range planning and the support to your staff as a unit, building a unit in the board, I think that's how I feel. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, and so we've talked about challenges. What do you see as some opportunities within your park district? What are some opportunities that you might be able to take advantage of in the coming years?
Well, for my town, you mean?
Yes.
I think Channahon has one of the brightest futures going. We have tremendous support at this point from our people. We have within our district the ever-growing industrial trade and transportation needs of getting intermodal traffic. The development of the intermodal trade center in the Channahon area has just brought us to both the good and the bad. The bad is there's so much traffic, but there is warehouse after warehouse after warehouse by all these corporations. There's even a couple of factories coming together, one of them near us for building cars. Financially, our district is going to find itself to be able to go beyond what would have been our wildest dream even 5 years ago. Now, how you plan that, how you prepare for that, how do you renovate and keep going all that we've done in this previous 50 years? That's the biggest challenge for our district. And Wayne, I'm probably at that point now, within the next few years, my age, not that it's important, but at 87, I don't see myself completing the full 6 years that I have on my new elected tenure. My goal and my challenge is to work as long as I can with it and try to be productive. And when I see that suddenly I'm not being productive, then to help find a good replacement.
All right, now I want to change gears just real quick. I want to ask you a little bit about what are some of the benefits of a commissioner getting involved with IAPD?
I don't know if you've got enough time for that answer. IAPD is like a dictionary from A to Z. There's something going on in so many ways that if you're a beginner, these boot camps and getting to get advice from people that have been involved with districts throughout the state, and in some cases our staff at IAPD are just shoulder to shoulder and well known and well recognized around the entire country. For new people there, I am so excited. One of our new commissioners has just come on the IAPD board, and it's listening to his excitement when he talks about what he's hearing and doing. And he's a good listener, and he's paying attention. And now advance that. I'm not the only person in our state that has been helping their hometowns as a long time. Golly, the chat rooms, the webinars, for those that are up to the technology of things, the sky's the limit. Age is not a limit anymore. Amount of years you've put on the board, because IAPD, between the beginner to the veterans, there is always things to be learned. There's always things there that they're bringing to your surface because they see the picture. We only see what happening is at home. And when you're with IAPD and you get a broad picture of what's going on, then things you kind of look at it a little bit differently, Wayne. And if there's an advantage that I would say of being very active with IAPD is that's it. You get the broad picture, you get to meet the people that have made it work. They're successful. They're good people to follow.
Now, you mentioned it a little bit, but I wonder if you could just revisit it real quick. What has your experience been with IAPD?
Well, with IAPD, I was appointed back, I think, in the late 1980s or the early 1990s. I was appointed to the IAPD board. Worked through that, ended up being the chairman and then past chairman of IAPD. Left for a few years and remained active with some of the committees. When Dr. Flickinger retired and Peter was assigned, I said, I'll help you any way I can. I was so happy to see him become the director. And then I became a second time member of my IAPD board, which I completed maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I'm still active. I'm on a couple of their committees. I'm currently ambassador. I'm helping chair the membership committee, and still active. That's pretty much the story, Wayne.
Now, how would you like to be remembered when somebody looks back on your time with your park district?
Well, hadn't really thought about that. I think I would rather prefer people to just remember me that I was a part of it. It's not a one-person job. We've here in our town, our staff of people. Not only was it our director, but all the staff that's there. Many of them have got 25 and 30 years of working with us. On the Board of Commissioners, at one time we had over 100 years within the group. I just want to be remembered as part of a district that started from scratch and became really well known. And as I said before, we were a gold medal winner with that team of people. So I just want to be remembered as a part of it. Did what we could, and no different than a lot of the other guys and gals in towns and cities around us. And I just happened to be in a town that was receptive to this type of recreation. They wanted this kind of recreation and park systems. And we struggled from no money to now looking forward to how do we handle the growth and somewhat what might happen in the future. So, no, I hope that answers your question. I'm just glad to have been a part of it. I feel very fortunate to be a part of it and IAPD. And it's exciting to be working with this other foundation that we became a part of. And so be it. It'll be what it'll be.
Speaking of things that you're working on, looking back on your service, what would you consider to be your major contribution to the field of parks and recreation?
Well, I think probably maybe getting involved with this, helping start the Association for Park Foundations. That we did that about 7 or 8 years ago. We were very blessed. I was part of a foundation for the National Park and Recreation, and that group gave us the seed money, $100,000, to start this national foundation for. I think if that looks like it's going to be extremely successful. It's growing. It's not growing like so fast you can't manage it, but we're up near, I think, over 100 or some members. We're in 26 different states and contacts with many more. Helping people get the funds to do the things they need to work with to advance recreation, I think, might be the most important thing I've done.
All right, now, what's the best advice that you've ever received?
I think the best advice I got was be an observer and a listener, and then a decider. Don't get listening to people, listen to people what they're saying, but kind of keep your eyes open to see if it's so one-sided that it's just something you need to do more looking into. I don't think that snap judgments. I've also learned to listen to the advice of professionals. I'm a citizen. There's so many things that professionals know and do and encounter and work with. My job is to help give them the assets to work with. I can give advice. I can make my feelings known, but I think I also let our people that we hire, let them do the job of running and administering it. And I think I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely. What advice would you give a 20-year-old?
I would suggest to him that if he's looking for a career and he likes being around people and he likes activity, I think I would advise him to perhaps during the course of getting his degree, and I would start this conversation with somebody that has had a little bit of background. I'd say try to work a year or two in the summer in a park district situation. See if you get a feeling that that's something you'd like to do. Then from there,
All right.
it just works its course. It's amazing. It's amazing, Wayne, when I talk to some of the people that around the state, directors now, that they've been around a long time. But when you see how many of them had some of their first jobs in park and recreation, or how many of them that basically was their first job ever, cutting grass or working at the park or down at the golf course or something like that. And then from there, it just led to a career. Like me, I never thought I'd get involved in park and recreation, even though I had those years at Northern. But boy, did that pay off. That had my interest, and then one thing just kept feeding that interest, and that's how it works.
Yeah, I've heard so many stories from people about how they started one of their first jobs is at the park district, and how they've enjoyed it so much they've stuck with it, and it's just become such a huge part of their lives. So
yes,
I absolutely would encourage anybody to get involved with park districts young, because there's so many opportunities there to have great experiences to help your community and just make it an overall better place for everybody. So,
yeah, amen.
I absolutely agree with that. so are there any historical figures that inspire your work?
I guess the answer to that would probably be not so much historical people. There's so many directors. I really think IAPD is the first place I would step on, that first step up on the ladder of interest, because IAPD, when I got involved in that made me brush shoulders with people from the cities, and it made me brush shoulders with people from smaller towns. I don't know, I'm kind of wandering here trying to figure out a good answer for that. Historically, the years that I was within RPA, yes, I shook hands with the presidents. I was a part of working with 2 or 3 different presidents. I think probably the biggest battle that we were involved with within RPA was getting money designated in the national budget from offshore drilling for the states that border where the drilling was taking place. A little background quick on that, Wayne. When they originally authorized offshore drilling, they sold it by some of the money going to park districts and recreation and national parks, but they had the word "if" Congress approved it. And our job was to change that one little word "if" to "will." And it took a long time, and it just happened that through the kind of a lot of the ongoing work by others, we met some people that really helped make that go while I was chairman.
All right. Now, what do you see as the benefits of park and recreation services, and are there any examples of the service that you'd like to share regarding the Channahon Park District?
Well, the challenge of meeting all ages. If I took the ages, I'd rather look at it like that. All the swimming lessons and all of the things of that nature, probably for the real young youthful group. That's the most important for that age group. We also offer a preschool offering for people and getting them up like the third, fourth, and fifth, and the after school things. The village has really, and the town has really accepted that as a pretty key thing for that age group. Jumping ahead, probably the age group that the water park and the golf courses and things like that appeal to some it doesn't. The trails appeal to some and some it doesn't. But our next big challenge is, what do we offer family-wise to those people in that 35 to 40 range looking for what to do with kids, which is why we built this out. We're building this outdoor woodland park with playgrounds and things scattered through it. And then our 50-year survey, Wayne, in our town shows that our senior group want a lot of outdoor activities. And we haven't been really doing that good a job of making all those possible. So that's where we're looking at right now.
Now, a fun question as we near the end of this interview. If funds were unlimited, what would you like to see done for your park district? If funds were unlimited.
We would instantly redo our field house and just double it. We would include activities in that field house that would be far advanced. It's just like a lot of others. Everything for the people that are the walkers, to the weightlifters, to the people that do the yoga training, and on and on and on with that. That would probably be the first place I would spend money. I think the second place I would spend some money would probably be the expansion of our water park. Third, I always think in things of three. I think the third thing I would take an area that's really growing the most for us and look for one more big park that serves people in that section of our town.
All right, and my last question for you today, what is your vision for the future of parks and recreation in Illinois?
Well, I think the biggest thing will be the continuation and the acceptance of all that's been started. Illinois is an exception to the country, Wayne. There's only 2 other states and a couple that have counties that maybe have the same privilege, who are their own government entities and have the authority to tax and raise money. Now, some people don't like that in each state, but Illinois is fortunate because each park district kind of controls its destiny as it's dictated to by its town. All around the country, the other 46 states, they only get their money and their budgets from either their city managers or their governors or their county or some legislative body. So I guess where I'm going with this is I would think that everybody needs to be very, very alert to the financial situation that their community is in, and that they very much needs to be aware that long-range planning really can't count on like the state helping fund through the state funds parks. They're going to have to develop a pretty good feeling within their citizens as to whether they want to build something and are willing, either through philanthropy or a great many of these companies are willing to support financially, but developing some type of a program to supplement their funding. Because I see money being a very tight system. The major problem always, but I see it being ongoing, I guess is the way to say it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Ron, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to talk with me and share some of your insights and experience. And I appreciate you just really giving me some really good information about just how you view parks and recreation. I know you've probably seen everything, so I'm so happy I had a chance to sit down and talk with you.
I have. I've been able to travel the country as that NRPA chairman. It was a 3-year term. We kind of had the agreement that every state that had a state conference for park and recreation, one of us, either myself or the CEO or our professional leader, every one of those states got covered by one of us. And so it was my privilege. I've got to just about every state through one combination of a meeting or a conference or something over that 12-year period of time. As I think maybe Maine is the only one I missed.
Well,
So
once again,
I've been blessed to be able to see what an awful lot of wonderful people. That's the one thing, Wayne. The professionals in this field are dedicated. It isn't a matter of how high can my paycheck be. They get out there, and that flow of interest by the people that's enjoying it and their ability to deliver it to them for that, it's probably the unsung, other than maybe the military. It's the people that's out there working with the people that get the accolades. It's not the person sitting on the board desk saying, do this.
yeah, it's nothing short of inspiring. Just all the stories that are out there about what park districts are doing throughout the state. Illinois is a very special place, and I feel very lucky every single day I get to enjoy the work that both my park district here in Springfield and throughout the state that I've seen on my travels. It's all just been just incredible to behold, and
Yeah.
I thank you for your work that you do, and I thank
Thank
everybody
you
for the work that they do.
Thank you.
And yeah, thank you very much for just taking time out of your day to speak with me, Ron.